In Unit 1, we will be discussing human hazmat in non-vegetation fires.
Of the structures, there's propane cylinders that have been burnt over there.
A walk through the woods with Assistant Fire Chief Alex Boyd shows plenty of fire activity.
This is indicative of the hazards we find in these camps.
Not only the remnants on the ground, but an actual fire burning inside a tent. Boyd says there are often clues left behind
You've got a large propane burner there, propane heater.
as to how a fire started.
And we've also found fires that we're not sure why they started because we don't have witnesses who can tell us anything about how it started.
It's a frustrating situation. Boyd says the wet weather has dampened concerns about wildfires, but fires in camps pose other hazards, including the dangers of inhaling toxic smoke.
The things that are burning are not natural wood, and they're synthetics, plastics, garbage.
It's a risk for firefighters who have to put them out.
And our protective equipment just isn't built to operate in this environment, and it causes a significant challenge to not only the firefighters, but a great risk to the residents in the area.
Let's review some points that came up after watching that video. This is a reoccurring hazard to wildland firefighters responding to incidents across the nation. Remember to maintain good situational awareness at all times. Educate yourself and your crew members on the non-veg fire watch-out situations. Use risk assessments to justify your actions and decisions as a firefighter, and remember that firefighter and public safety is always objective number one. You are probably wondering what human hazmat is. In the context of this course, we will consider human hazmat to be any kind of hazardous material that you could encounter while responding to a wildfire that has a non-veg component. Some examples are trash, needles, human waste, and leftover encampment debris. Human hazmat can affect you in many ways. Hazardous material exposure may affect your health if you come into contact with it. These materials may cause harm by their behavior and/or physical properties. To safely mitigate hazmat incidents, you must be aware of the variety of hazardous materials you may encounter, the potential health effects of those materials, or the physical hazards associated with them. Knowing some of these basic concepts will help prevent or reduce injury, loss of life, and environmental damage. The three main ways hazmat can get into your body are contact, ingestion, and inhalation. Inhalation of vapors, smoke, or gases. When hazmat presents an inhalation threat, respiratory protection is required. We do not generally have the appropriate level of respiratory protection. Inhalation exposure on non-veg wildfires. The smoke from unknown burning debris is our main concern and is a significant problem that we have not properly addressed in the past. This chart explains toxins that we could be exposed to and the known effects that those toxins have on the body. Take a minute to study the image. There are many different hazards that we can be exposed to while fighting non-vegetation fires. We are not properly equipped to be exposed to these kinds of hazards. The best option for us is to stay out of the smoke and limit all exposure. Some of those hazards include particulate matter, heavy metals, and hydrogen cyanide, which can be fatal. Ingestion of toxic materials or chemicals. Examples of ingestion exposure on non-veg wildfires could include through your eyes or through your hands and mouth. So what is the solution? Keep clean when you can and beware of the potential hazards. Be aware of your PP&E. Clean and wash your Nomex. The material can harbor toxins and heavy metal from ash and soot long after fire or exposure. What are you in contact with every day? This could be steering wheels, truck door handles, hand tools, etc. And remember, your hands are not always as clean as you think they are. Contact of toxic materials or chemicals by absorption through the skin or eyes. Many toxic materials and poisons can be easily absorbed. Contact with the smoke of some burning materials could result in a contact absorption if firefighters are exposed. The solution could be avoiding contact with burned or burning material on non-veg fire. Be mindful when cold trailing, using hand tools, or mopping up. The following is a list of items to consider when assessing a non-veg fire for human hazmat. Anything out of the ordinary, incident responses within campgrounds, incident responses within the wildland-urban interface, incident response to a known encampment area, dark or off-colored smoke. If you see something, say something. This goes for any personnel on the incident. Always maintain good situational awareness. Consider the potential for human hazmat hazards on any fires that contain wildland-urban interface or any kind of human component. This could be campgrounds, private property, or known long-term encampments. Consider using the all-risk non-veg checklist and non-veg threat assessment located within the COFMIS Incident Size Up Organizer. This can help guide your decisions on the incident and help justify your actions. If the fire is assessed to be unsafe due to human hazmat, consider some of the following other options. Indirect tactics, use of spraying water or foam only, notification to duty officer and/or dispatch, and an explanation of the situation. Request for specialized resources. Request for tactical officer or AFMO to respond to the incident. Avoid cold trailing or hands and knees mop-up tactics. Remember, all smoke is hazardous. Stay in fresh air and upwind as much as possible. Explain the situation the best you can. Paint a picture of the hazard and your actions to mitigate it. Avoid any unnecessary exposure to the hazard. Relate your mitigations to incident objective number 1, which is always firefighter and public safety. Page 54 in your IRPG under the yellow pages is another guide for hazmat incident operations. If you or any of your fellow responders are sick after or during exposure on an incident, see something, say something, and seek help. Although unlikely, exposure to these toxins could cause health risks or even death. In closeout, remember the 3 main routes of hazmat exposure are contact, ingestion, and inhalation. Remember to expect that all smoke contains unhealthy and toxic fumes. Do your best to avoid breathing this in if possible. Remember to always maintain good situational awareness. If you see something, say something. Remember that firefighter and public safety are always objective number 1.